drive to right field. This ball is gone. Gone and into the history books.
The Seattle Mariners, Felix Hernandez, the 2-2. He got it! 34 years, 119 games. It's finally happened. A perfect game by a Seattle Mariner. It was done by the King.
And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on and line down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. And they are going crazy at the Kingdom.
Welcome to the Corner of Edgar and Dave podcast, episode 38, season 3, episode 6. We're officially into the meat of the season, Nick. This is no longer an early season podcast. It's still technically early season, but I feel like it's officially, doesn't it feel like it's baseball now? Doesn't it just feel like, before it was like, oh, thank God baseball's back. It actually just feels like baseball now.
Dude, I felt like we've been in the meat of the baseball season since spring training ended. Honestly, for me, baseball begins when spring training starts, not like opening day, right? And
yeah.
As soon as they broadcast like every game instead of like 2 games a week, it's like, we're here. We've done it. We've finally made it. This horrible, terrible period of our lives called the off season is over.
You know what really makes me feel like baseball's back? It's when I throw like a 15 strikeout game in MLB The Show, which I did with James Paxton. My first game in my franchise mode with James Paxton, rest in peace, except not dead. I threw a 15K complete game shutout. Or no, it was actually gave up a few runs, as I had a shutout through like 8 innings. A complete game, 15 strikeout performance from Big Pax. The Maple Grove was going crazy. It was awesome. So that's how I know baseball's back, is when I put up stupid busted numbers with players who are injured.
Is the Maple Grove in the game?
No, I don't think so. I'm just, in my mind, they were going crazy.
So, I don't know about you, but in the show, every year leading up to this year, they've had the King's Court for Felix, just in case you bring him back.
Yeah.
But this year, I brought Felix back because I needed a 5th starter, because I ended up trading Yusei away.
Ooh, that's smart. I should go get Felix.
So
wise.
There is no King's
so wise.
Court for Felix.
That's just wrong. Wait,
They just got rid of it.
There was no need to take that out of the game.
In all of the other games.
There was no need to take that out of the game.
There's no reason.
There's no
Especially because you'd think the King's Court would still be there for Felix if you make like a Diamond Dynasty game in Seattle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
I don't get it. Random thing they took out of the show that I just don't understand.
So how you doing? Have you built yourself a pretty good Diamond Dynasty team?
Yeah, man. So I feel like I've sent you a couple screenshots of my games, right?
Yeah.
Turns out, so I'm like 120 games into the season already. Everyone's recovered from their injuries.
Good.
I traded for Trey Turner. I don't know if I've said that on the
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
you told me that. And then he got injured immediately.
Yes, but he's back now. And over the 65 games he's played in a Seattle Mariners uniform in my game, he has committed 15 errors. And I really want to throw him through a digital wall.
Do you use regular throwing, or do you use like the precision throwing?
I just use button, but I'm talking about. So I don't normally play defense. I normally just hit in my games. And I'll go to manager mode and sim those.
Okay.
So in manager mode simming, he has committed 15 errors in 60 games.
I'll usually what I do is I play every Marco start the whole game, and then I'll play at least one game every series. And then I'll super manager, I'll quick manager, that how they have that quick manage mode.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll use that for a couple of games each series or whatever to kind of get through.
I never do it unless I plan on playing, but so I'll if I
Do you just hard sim games? You just hard sim games? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I just hard sim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always at least manage the game.
Oh, I just don't care that much. So I'll play one game out of each series, and then I'll maybe manage one or two if I'm feeling like it, but I'm normally not. But I normally just like play one game of series, then sim the rest of the series, then play one game of the series, and sim the rest of the series.
All right. Got any good advice for us on the Diamond Dynasty marketplace stocks?
I do. We talked about this a little bit before the show, but if you're in on this Wall Street betting game, which is the show Diamond Dynasty, invest in Ty France and invest in Mechaniker.
Just degenerate speculating on players rising and falling in the show changes.
I mean, dude, we're literally 3+
I mean,
weeks
pretty
into the
much
season,
every
and
Mariner's
Ty
got to
France
go
is
up, right?
Oh, you've got to think that, right, with how well they're playing. But that's not really how they do it. Like, so if you look at the success of the team, is generally when they're going to buff these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I've unfortunately really been paying attention to this because I can't get over Diamond Dynasty these last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
They would buff like 2 or 3 or 4 really guys that are really standing out. So, like, the Mariners are succeeding right now. So I could see them buffing Ty France, Mitch Haniger, maybe Kyle Seager, and probably like Kendall Graveman. Because Kendall Graveman, if you've looked on Diamond Dynasty, is only like a 62, which is insane, right?
Right. Did I tell you that one of my coworkers, he either worked with Kendall Graveman or knows someone that worked with Kendall Graveman when he was with the A's, and said that he's just like a mean, terrible person?
Really?
Yeah, I knew that would crush you. I forgot to tell you that.
That does crush me.
Because I was hyping it up. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he's like, oh, he's actually an intern with our sports information department, and he's like, I hate to break it to you, but Kendall Graveman is apparently not the nicest guy.
Like back when he worked with the A's?
Yeah, it was when he was with the A's. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That sucks.
Tough, I know, right? You always you hate to meet your heroes. You hate to meet your heroes.
I know. That's why I like going to games, so I can watch them from afar, but I don't have to go over and say hi and ask for an autograph.
Yeah, I mean, he told me that. It was pretty crushing, and then I thought of you first, and I was like, this is just gonna devastate Nick.
And then instead of keeping that to yourself for the rest of your life, you just
I'm honest. I'm honest with you. I just wanted you to tell you. You know what, Kendall Graveman, we can like it. We like him as a player, but we gotta question the character, right? That's it changes. That was a few years ago. Changes happen. Things can change.
That's true.
So we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. We just need to be careful. Maybe not send Kendall to the children's school for a book reading or anything like that.
Maybe being diagnosed with some sort of cancer has really mellowed him out.
Hopefully that would help. Hopefully. Did you see?
I don't remember what he has. What does he have? Do you remember?
I don't remember specifically what his cancer was.
I just know it's something in the neck.
Lymphoma?
Something weird.
I don't know.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Did you see? I know you had to have seen this. That for the first time since the Astros joined the AL West, that the standings spelled out asshat.
Of course, yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
I go to the
magical
baseball subreddit daily.
Just magical. Like I don't know. I don't know how notable it is. I just thought I was like, dang, that's pretty busted.
I mean, what do you think the chances of that are, though, considering that you need the A's in first place and the Mariners in second place to even
I mean, that makes it tough. That makes it tough. But the fact that you need Texas in last place is just a given, right? So you're automatically going to have the T in asshat.
Yeah.
And so then you just have to get the other ones to adjust, right?
Well, I think the real question here is where do we go next with this ass hat? How long until it's hat ass?
Hopefully never. That means we're in last place.
That's true.
That only works if we're in last place, Nick.
But you gotta think it'll happen eventually. I'm not saying.
No, I think that the Mariners are going to become the perennial franchise. If the Dodgers can win 100 games every year, and everyone's talking like they're the gods of baseball, and they can win their division like 50,000 years in a row, then the Mariners can do it too. I don't ever want to see a season where the Mariners aren't in first place. That's all I'm saying.
You know, there's a point in every season where like there's 1 or 2 games between every team's belt. So what do you think? And so you think the Mariners will ever be in last place ever again?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Nick, the hashtag is see us rise. See us rise. We have to rise. It's not see us rise then fall or see us fall. It's see us rise, Nick. We are only rising in the standings. There's only rising to be happening.
All right. Okay.
Jesus.
All right, so 0%. We will never see a hat ass.
Yeah,
It'll never
0%.
happen.
It'll never happen.
Okay.
It just doesn't seem possible. I mean,
Okay.
it's technically hypothetically possible, but it doesn't actually seem possible.
Oh, well, now that we know the Mariners are never going to ever have a losing season ever again, let's just wrap up the show and watch the game today, yeah?
Is that it? You don't want to talk anything about baseball? You want to talk about what happened? We had a fantastic week. We got to start off with the best things and the worst things that we saw this week.
Oh, I mean, the best things that we saw this week, I mean, I don't know about for you, but for me it has to be that we asked the baseball gods to at least let us go 3-3, and we went 3-3. That's all we needed. We're in second place.
Speaking of going 3-3, we did note you sent this to me earlier that the Mariners were 21st in the most recent power rankings, despite having the hardest schedule in baseball up to this point.
And they're one of the hottest teams in the league.
I know.
Actually, it's funny that you bring that up, because I was also going to bring that up as my worst thing about Mariners baseball this week. It's just, it's unbelievable. The disrespect put on the name of the Mariners after, like, the fantastic start they've gone through. You're saying there's still 20
teams?
hotter teams in baseball right now?
Yeah, and the A's moved all the way up to second. We're one game behind them.
We're one game behind them.
And the Red Sox...
And we've had a harder schedule. They've literally got to face, like...
During their 13-game win streak, right? Yeah, during their 13-game win streak, they played Baltimore, Detroit, Texas, in a super hard slumping... The last time that this team was playing any good baseball was against us, the Twins. Yeah. So they basically had the easiest schedule in baseball over their 13... not to discredit them, it's hard to win 13 games in a row. But, all things considered, not that impressive. Except... 13 wins is impressive. It's not the most impressive 13-win streak I've ever seen.
I mean, the consistency is impressive, but when you look at the opponents that they're facing, what we're saying is it's not as impressive as what the Mariners are doing.
Were they even that consistent, though? Like, were they even that consistent? There's so many of those games they won at the last second, and I think one of those games was like 13-15 or something like that, or 14-15.
Whoa. You can't discredit come from behind victories in a Mariners 2021
I'm not discrediting them. I'm just saying that's not a sign of consistency.
But what you're saying is that if we're calling stop, just stop. You're gonna.
We are not. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if this is this controversial.
We have to mark them down on their late game consistency. We also have to mark down the Mariners' late game consistency because obviously they've won like 6 of their games from coming behind victories in the back 9 outs of the game.
I don't think it's necessarily we're playing good baseball. I don't think it's necessarily controversial to say that we're not playing the most consistent, replicatable baseball. Like, I'm happy with what we're doing, but it's not like I'm happy to win games, but I would much rather us do like what we did against Boston the other day, where we literally scored like every inning the whole game, you know, and scored like 8 runs.
Just offense all the time. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants that, but like you're not gonna get that every game.
I'm just saying they are playing ass teams and barely winning those games, coming from behind. Yes. And even there was a game where they won, what was it, like 15-14 or something like that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
must be nice on a night when your pitchers are terrible that their pitchers are also even more terrible.
Also terrible.
Yeah, like, must be nice.
I agree, dude. The A's are, like, super overhyped just because they won a bunch of games. But the Mariners do the same, and, like, nobody cares. Like, nobody in baseball seems to give a fuck.
Even Boston, in that article, they said that the Boston had a gritty 3-3 homestand. But how good could their homestand have been when they were playing the shitty 21st ranked Seattle Mariners?
Yeah.
how is their homestand gritty, but we're shit? I just want to know. Like, they're like, wow, those Boston Red Sox put them up at like top 10 because they pulled out a 3-3 week. Although the team that they played against god awful, but that doesn't change the fact that Boston had a great week. Like,
yeah, dude,
please.
It blows my mind. It's literally one of those things where it must have been one of those things where like the MLB like beat writer or whatever was just like, They just like searched for the top 10 trending teams in baseball and then discounted every other fucking team in the league.
I mean, they're just not. They don't watch Mariners baseball. It's something we always know. It's something we've known. Being a Seattle sports fan for the longest time.
So lame.
Teams do not watch Seattle sports. It is what it is. I'm not even mad about it anymore. It's just funny to talk about, right?
It's just so rough. And like this whole like the past couple of weeks for me have just been so degrading. After like they release SDS releases MLB The Show 2021. The Mariners are terrible. They're literally like one of the bottom ranked teams, and all of the players have been nerfed. And then like MLB.com releases this article that just makes you want to kill them.
I love that. I love that it came up when I put it on. It was like the first game of the season was like last year. Ty France, he's like a 62 in the game, and it was like last year, 305. He hit 305 last year, and it's a 62. It's like, okay, cool.
And you look at his numbers, and they're like insane. And then you go look at like Christian Yelich, who hit like 125 with 6 home runs last year, and they're like 95 still, whatever. Fucking who cares?
That's because everyone down there only watches Padres games, and we play like shit against the Padres, so...
Yeah, which we didn't this week. So you think that facing teams like Boston and the Dodgers and playing very well against them would make people see that the Mariners.
Well, that's the problem. Is we have to play against the Padres. It is San Diego Studios, right? We have to play against the Padres for them to recognize us.
That's true. Yeah, but you think living in San Diego that you'd also watch Dodgers games, right? Because like, maybe. I mean, LA and San Diego pretty fucking close together.
It's like a 5-hour drive.
It's like a 2-hour drive.
Is it? I thought it was longer than that.
No.
I don't know. But this is not a California geography podcast. As much as we'd like it to be.
That's true.
Alright, my best thing and worst thing I saw, it's a little bit more on-field related. Best thing I saw, Mitch's home run in extra innings to put us up 7-3 over Boston. That was a monster donger.
That was
actually, on top of that, that's 1A. 1B was Sam Haggerty's monster bomb.
Another big dog.
Was it that same game or was it the night before? Either way.
I think it was the night before.
Either way, both of those had me hopping off the couch. I was like, oh shit. Like I almost jumped over the couch when Mitch hit his home run. I was like, let's fucking go. I love extra innings.
that Sam Haggerty home run was like 470 feet.
I mean, for a dude that never hits home runs, when he does, they're just fucking monsters.
So really good MLB The Show reference really quickly for you. Sam Haggerty in the show ranked 65 or something, maybe 64, 62, has like 10 power to both sides.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, which I get because he has like almost no career home runs, but all of his like home runs so far have been just monsters, and hitting a gigantic one in Boston is, always helps. Worst thing I saw, pretty obvious to me. I mean, it's just I have been thinking about it all day. Margavicius's. Ooh, that's weird with a plural or with a possessive. Margavicius's start yesterday.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Really rough.
Really
I'll
rough.
be honest with you. I slept through that game. I didn't get up till like 1 o'clock yesterday. I really slept in.
Yeah.
I woke up, saw the scoreline, and was like, I'm not even going to watch the VOD.
It was hard to watch. I will say this, and I tweeted this out. I was like, credit to Scott Service. He pulled him after he had walked in like 2 or 3 runs. I think he walked in 3 runs, and I was like, you know what? 2018 Scott would have left him in there for like 4 or 5 more batters.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, credit to Scott. He figured it out when he didn't have it. However, going into the news now, Margavicius is now on the injury list. And someone else was brought. Yeah, so he's officially done for a little bit, gone to the injury list, which is like one of those things, and this frustrates me about Mariners players, or baseball players in general, especially pitchers. If you feel hurt...
They're not feeling good and they still pitch.
Don't pitch the game. Don't pitch the game.
Yeah.
I understand they're competitive. They want to stay in it. They want to play for their team, whatever, right? Especially in the show, if you're not an established player, if you go down, if you're sent down, if you go to the injury list, you may never come back. I get that. Yeah. I get that. But when your team's playing good baseball on the road and the weather's terrible, it's already cold. It's cold, right? You're going to have a harder time with your muscles, with your body operating in cold weather. If you're already not feeling well, tell someone, because I'm going to tell you right now, unless this is like one of those BS injury list designations, just to like, because he's pitching bad and he needs time. He had a bad outing. He's like unless it's an ego injury, which maybe it is. If it's a real injury, he shouldn't have been pitching in the game, and Scott should have went out and got him earlier.
So. I actually don't think so, so I'll be honest with you, I know I said I didn't watch the VOD. I did watch the first inning, because I read an article that was like, Sam Margevicius had a terrible outing. It didn't get through the first, and I was like, man, I gotta see this. And the entire time he's out there, like, Mike Flowers was like, man, something looks off. He looks like he's in pain or some shit. Yeah. And then it would pan over to Scott Service, and Scott was like, the fuck's going on with him?
It's just like, I figured it out 5 batters before Service did.
No,
get his butt out of there.
So. I actually think Scott Service noticed it after like the second or third batter and was like, well, let's see if he recovers. But really, he should have went out there immediately and was like, everything okay, son?
Yeah,
like,
to me, it's that simple. Just, you can go to the mound 6 times. Yeah. Just take your trainer out there and be like,
just go,
yes, doesn't look right. Are you injured? Is something wrong? Because if you keep pitching, it could ruin your arm even more, or whatever's wrong with you, right? So it's
especially with your pitchers, like you were saying. Like, obviously, pitching in baseball is literally the thing that will destroy your body the quickest. It's not fielding baseballs. It's not hitting baseballs. It's not even getting hit by baseballs. It's taxing your arm by throwing it 90 to 100 miles an hour 100 times a day.
Right.
Destroys your body, right?
Right.
So don't fucking do it if you're already in pain. It's as simple as that.
Especially this early in the season, I would hope that he would like have a better idea of his body and what he should be doing. Yes. I don't know. It was just frustrating. And
no, you're totally right.
That really leads us into the news. Margevicius was sent down. They called up someone named Robert Duggar. I don't know anything about him. He played his college baseball at Texas Tech, which is a couple hours away from me here in El Paso, so that's kind of cool. But other than that, literally know nothing about him. Probably going to see him today. That's typically the way it goes, is that especially when they call up these young guys, they try and just get him into a game right away, right? So I would imagine if we need relievers, which hopefully, maybe we might throw like a perfect game today or something. I don't know.
Shit, we're going to need a starter.
That's true. Maybe he is a starter. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Is he a starting pitcher? I literally know nothing about this guy. Just as a pitcher. Yeah, I imagine if he's going to be in the bullpen, that they'll probably get him in the game sometime today. So, we'll see.
I mean, where do they even go with the bullpen? Because I also saw in that article about Sam Margevicius, they were like, he's hurt. He left after 1, but they're not going to bring up Logan Gilbert because they don't want to like fast track him to the majors because of an injury. So where do they go from here? Do they sign someone off? Like, do they trade for someone? Do they like pick up a waiver claim? Like, where do they get this starter that we currently need in our 6-man rotation?
I would imagine it's going to be LJ.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually. He's already on the team right now.
Yeah, he's already up at the roster. I mean, he pitched yesterday, so if you gave him a few days off, right, if you let him go into Margevicius' slot, dude, I cannot say his name possessively. That's wild. If he goes into that boy's slot, to the M boys slot, then he would be ready to pitch in 5 days or whatever.
Sam Margevicius? Have I been butchering that name all day? Nick Margevicius. Where did I get Sam from? Am I insane?
I don't know. Margevicius.
Especially because I'm named Nick. I think I know that as a fellow Nickster.
Other than that, I don't know real Mariners news. We kind of talked about it a lot at the top. This last week though, they played 6 games. They played the Dodgers at home. Ended up splitting that series 1-1 after, winning the first one in fairly dramatic fashion. Like, they led most of the way through, right? But it was kind of tense with our bullpen in the end, and our bullpen got the job done, right? So we split the series with the world champs. Then we go all the way across the country, which is our second cross-country flight in 10 days to play against the Boston Red Sox, who were also the best team in their division at the time. And we split the series with them, having great games with Boston. I mean, we kind of talked about it off the top, but this team is playing with the big boys. We've already had the hardest schedule in baseball, and we're winning. we're playing with the big boys. Like I would say it feels different, right? This doesn't feel like the 13-2 start. This doesn't feel, like the Mariners just being hot at a weird time. It doesn't, like it feels like a real baseball team winning real games, and they don't necessarily excel at anything. I mean, aside from the bullpen, that's one thing they excel at. They have really great defense. That's one thing that they excel at. But as far as like the traditional things you look, yeah, and but I was gonna say, so like the order. Would you say the batting order like they excel at? They're really great 1 through 4, but they're not very good 5 through 9.
No,
so
I'm gonna be honest with you. The Mariners' success this season has really all come down to the top 4 being really good,
yeah,
and then the bottom 3 just occasionally getting a hit, and then again the top 3 always hits them in. Right?
Yeah.
Like you look.
Well, so you just want to go right into the lineup? You just want to go right into batting?
I don't really know how to push a narrative without talking about those 3 right now for the Mariners, right? Because it is literally every single time someone is on base, Mitch Haniger, Ty France, or Kyle Seager just hits them in. You look at guys like Kyle Seager, his average with runners in scoring position is like 650. 650! And the dude only has an average of like 240.
Yeah,
so
Kyle Seager is busted right now.
It's
with runners in scoring
like,
position.
He's like, oh, there's no one on base. Why am I even hitting? Oh, someone's on base. Real shit.
Yeah, and it has been nice that the bottom of our lineup has been able to chip in like that, right? Whether it's Sam Haggerty getting a single or a double, J.P. Crawford, not this week so much, but through the course of the season has been a really great number 9 hitter to set up Mitch Haniger. Like Mitch Haniger is our leadoff hitter, and I don't think he is currently now, but he was leading the team in RBIs. I'm pretty sure he's not anymore, but because Kyle Seager had such a huge, massive week. Let me see here, year to date.
I think
he's
battling it out for 1.
No, Kyle Seager has 19 RBIs. Mitch Haniger has 17. Mitch Haniger is our leadoff hitter. He's our leadoff hitter. Yeah. He has 17 RBIs. So we have to give credit to some of these guys at the bottom of the order, right? Whether it's the J.P. Crawfords, the Dylan Moore, who's starting to heat up a little bit. Not super hot, but he's chipping in. J.P. Crawford, Sam Haggerty, Evan White, chipping in some doubles. That's really what it takes. Is these bottom guys are chipping in a little bit, and our top of the lineup is automatic at hitting them in.
Yes. But that's really where the credit needs to go to, right? When you talk about the Mariners, I'm gonna be honest with you. We've been watching a lot of baseball. Anyone can get a single at any point in the game with nobody on. Happens all the time. But not everyone is going to consistently hit everybody in all the time with runners on base. Because it's baseball. It is just more pressure. There's a lot more going on if there's someone on base at any bag. Right. If someone's on first, if someone's on second, if someone's on third, it doesn't matter. It just takes another level of situational hitting to be hot in those situations, right?
Right.
And the top of the order just does it every time, it feels like.
It's true. It's very true. So, we did have an appearance this week. We briefly got to mention it in the last podcast because we knew he was coming back. Kyle Lewis is back. The reigning American League Rookie of the Year. It wasn't Luis Robert. It was Kyle Lewis. And he started the year on the IL, but he's back. Played in 4 games. This is the part where it gets questionable. 2 hits in 16 at-bats. 125, slashing 125, 176, 188.
Yeah,
one walk, 5 strikeouts. Tough week. I mean, he hit a double. Are you concerned?
Story, right?
Are you concerned?
No,
this isn't the week. This isn't the.
No.
Here's what I'm thinking, though. Playing devil's advocate, his first week of the 2020 season basically won him the American League Rookie of the Year.
That's true. Okay, but you really got to express the full narrative of what's going on with Kyle Lewis right now, right? Because it's not just having a bad week. It's he missed 3 weeks of spring training, then missed another 3 weeks of the regular season, and now he has to, in his first couple games, have been against some pretty solid starting pitching who have had plenty of time to like figure their shit out and see what they want to do with the season, right?
Yeah, it was one game against the Dodgers, and that was that second game against what is that guy's name? He basically pitched an absolute gem against us. It wasn't
Julio Urias.
Yeah, Urias. Yes, he freaking killed us in that second game. So that was tough. And then obviously going to Boston, playing 3 games in Boston, not contributing, but again coming up against a team that's playing really good baseball right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not worried about Kyle Lewis. That's good to know.
No.
Good to know.
No, man. I mean, you look at his I think I said it on our Twitter, but like his contact has been so good. I mean, he's not getting the base hits that you think that I even think that he totally should be. Because you look at his, like, what's his expected batting average? Expecting batted average, 190. So it's not great. But they say there's, like, probably 1 or 2 hits that he should have gotten. I think it's probably more like 3 or 4. Because every single time he hits the ball, it looks like a line drive, and it looks like it's going to the outfield, but it's just going right at the center fielder or right at the left fielder. It's like, god damn, man. If he can figure out how to avoid those outfielders, he will be on base all the time pretty soon.
Yeah, he had a tough time, right, hitting it right to, right at fielders, tough.
Yeah, and maybe it could just be one of those things where he was the reigning Rookie of the Year, so they just kind of like...
they're definitely aware of it, right?
He's going to hit it to these spots, right?
And, like, to his credit, like, Scott wasn't holding back. He threw him right into the heart of the lineup.
I mean, he's hitting 4th.
Yeah, he threw right into the heart of the lineup. He's ready to go. I mean, I think we're going to see... This is going to be the one guy I'm looking for this week to at least show a little bit of life, though. Because the reality is, you can talk about being a little unlucky. You can talk about being rusty. But this is a week where we're playing against our divisional opponents. And you need your best player on the team to be your superstar against divisional opponents. We have 4 games against Houston, 3 games against the Angels. I'm looking to Kyle Lewis this week because as much as hot as Mitch is, as hot as Ty is, as clutch as Kyle is, I think there's still no doubt in my mind that Kyle Lewis is the best player on this baseball team. And I expect him to show it this week against real competition, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if you're not expecting it, you got to hope for it because that's just what we need from him and, like, the team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the success of this lineup in the future is going to have to come from, like, Ty France and Kyle Lewis, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good time for him to start. So pick it up.
All right, Nick. So the bullpen, they showed that they were mortal. Aside from the tough outing after Margavich's implosion, I cannot say his name, against Margavich's implosion yesterday, aside from the runs that were given up, a couple runs by LJ and by Steckenrider coming out of the bullpen. Aside from that, they are mortal. They gave up 1 run the rest of the week. What are you going to do? Sell them down the river, right?
Not that bad. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, I just got to mention it. Like, this bullpen is filthy. And it helps.
Yeah.
It helps majorly that so many of our starting pitchers are having deep outings. Chris Flexen went 7 innings this week. Marco Gonzalez went 7 innings this week. Those are the 2 standout starts. If we then turn from our bullpen to our starters, those starts stood out to me, especially Chris Flexen. I am all aboard on the Flexen hype train. I am so much in love with Chris Flexen.
Yeah, he's so good.
His game against Boston, busted. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, only allowing 1 run, only walking 1 guy, and 7 strikeouts. He struck out more guys than he allowed on the base paths, Nick.
Yeah.
You don't see that you don't expect to see that, I think, with a guy like Chris Flexen coming over from the KBO, not really knowing about him, not having a good major league career. He goes against one of the hottest hitting lineups in baseball. This Boston Red Sox lineup is freaking good, right? We didn't know they would be this good, but they're freaking good. And he comes out and he shuts them down. He shut them down into the ground.
Hey, I got just two quick things to add really quick. First, I want to say, hey, you say it's unexpected that the Red Sox are this good. I do remember in our preseason podcast wanting to place them as my number 10 best team in the league. So I'm like, everyone was shitting on them, but I'm like, man, you look at that lineup, it's so good, right? Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, and the rest of the crew are just fucking. That's a really good lineup, and I believe Chris Sale's coming back at the middle point of this year from his Tommy John surgery.
What do you want from me, Nick? You didn't pick him though. You can say I wanted to pick him. You can tell me you wanted to pick him, but you didn't pick him. I don't know what you want from me.
You talked me out of it. You're this is the Red Sox. You're really gonna pick the Red Sox in your top 10?
I can't help that you're not convicted. What do you want me to do with that? What do you want me to do with that? You want me to give you credit for almost picking the Boston Red Sox?
You talked me out of it.
Please. Okay. Oh my God! You want to sell me? You want to sell me some lakefront property in freaking
No, because you're
the Sahara Desert.
Okay,
oh my gosh!
The other thing I really want to talk about is I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast yet, but we just started using Baseball Savant. We use it all the time now. We love it. We love looking at all these stats.
Yeah, I basically only watched the game with Baseball Savant on the other screen.
It's really cool to look at. We were talking about the lineup, and you look at the lineup card for Baseball Savant, it's blue everywhere. It's blue everywhere. We're flipping the script talking about pitching. You flip it, and you immediately just see red. There's no blue. The only blue is one little stat from Marco, but he'll get through that. He'll get over it. But
yeah.
You look at the guys that are hot right now. Kendall Graveman, WOBA 103. WOBA con, 0.055. And you look at his expecting batting average against him, 164. What? You look at Keenan Middleton's 148. What? Those numbers are so low. There's lights out pitching from the bullpen. Unbelievable. I love looking at it and the success of the team. When you're talking about the Seattle Mariners right now and their streaky performance that they've got going on, you have to talk about how good this bullpen is.
Yeah, the bullpen, just the pitching staff in general. I think you mentioned it right there. They're hot. They're hot right now.
So hot.
So hot right now. Love it. All right. I think, what do you have left? I mean, really what we have left to do is our MVPs, I think. I don't think I have anything. I mean, the game's going on live right now. I just pulled it up on Baseball Savant where it looks like we're down 0-2. Oh, I just blew over Marco. Justice for Marco, man. What the heck? He throws a great, against maybe the best lineup in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Goes out there.
Let's just call him the best.
Pitches a gem. Pitches an absolute gem. Goes 7 innings, 2 hits. 2 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Loses that baseball game against Luis Urias.
He gets the loss.
Dude, justice for Marco. I don't have anything else to say. Just got another standout. Justice for Marco. I mean, so as I was saying, Baseball Savant looks like we're down 2-0. At the start of this game, I need to find, how did we get scored on? Freaking Astros.
I'm not sure, but I did notice, unfortunately, that Kyle Seager and Ty France got on base in the first, and Kyle Lewis unfortunately did not hit them in.
Tough. Oh yeah, look at that.
Not good on that one in the first.
Look at that, man. Look at that. We got to do our MVPs. We got to wrap this up. We got to go sit down and watch this baseball game.
Man, let's watch some baseball.
Justice Sheffield's on the mound, already given up a couple runs. We got to wrap it up by giving our MVPs of the week.
My MVP, I don't have one specifically. I just want to give it to the bullpen in general.
Okay.
Because every single person they throw out there is just so good.
Yeah, I mean they're locked down. Well. They're locked down, right? They kept us in. Even going back to yesterday's game, they kept the Mariners in that game. The Mariners had a chance to come back in that game.
Yeah.
Because they kept them in the game.
It's like they're all playing for their trade to the Rays.
Is that it?
The Rays got to be calling soon on the Mariners bullpen.
I didn't know that was it. Damn.
Oh, I mean,
good for them.
What do you mean?
Good for them. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's one of the jokes in baseball, man. If the Rays call you about a pitcher, hang up.
Yeah. Right. All right. My MVP is definitely got to be Kyle Seager. Clutch, absolute monster week for Kyle Seager. Like I just said, especially in terms of clutchness, he went, 7 RBIs this week? He had a home run. He had a triple. He had a cycle, not in one game, but in 4 at-bats or whatever, right? He had a cycle in 4 at-bats, not all happening in one game. I mean, just monster week. And it's kind of crazy, just like his batting average for the week was only 227. But he just had the most busted week I've seen in forever. He had the most busted week I've seen in forever. He only had 5 hits, but 2 of them were doubles. 1 was a triple, 1 was a home run, and he had 7 RBIs. Like, just talk about making it count, right? Talk about making it count. Mr. Clutch. I mean, the fact that, like, again, we've already talked about this. The fact that, like, the Mariners broadcast talks about Kyle Seager like this is his last year with the team is just bonkers. It's just crazy.
Sucks, man.
It's just crazy. It's so insulting.
I wish we could get Kyle Seager on the podcast so we can ask him directly, do you know more? Why are they talking about you like they're not resigning?
Why do they hate you?
Do you just not want to come back?
Why do they hate you?
They're like, it's like they went to Kyle and they were like, look,
looks
Kyle,
like, let's see,
Altuve.
It was an Altuve. It looks like Altuve singled, Yordan Alvarez doubled, and then Yuri Gurriel hit them both in, maybe? Is what it looks like? That's how we're... Oh, no. It was... Altuve got a single, Alvarez hit in Altuve, then Gurriel hit in Alvarez. So, you know what, though? That's the fact of the matter is, it's only like the 3rd inning. Like, but if you... We don't start playing this crap until like the 7th inning anyways.
Look, I'm just saying, if you look at the positives, Carlos Correa struck out right after. So, it's always nice to see Mr. Correa
good enough. Good enough. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go watch some Mariners baseball. We'll be back next week to talk about this big upcoming week, massive week this week. 4 games against the Astros, 3 games against the Angels. They're nipping on our tails. We're currently sitting in 2nd in the American League West, but we gotta catch the A's. We gotta keep these guys off of our tails. So we need to go out there and root for the boys, Nick.
Yeah, rooting for the boys. Go M's.
All right, go M's.
There's a drive deep right field. Say goodbye. Hey Lloyd, do some delivery for the truck to the airport.